Threads by Meta, which is basically Facebook Meta's answer to Twitter, so it's a clone of Twitter, is just launched in the UK. And one of our clients has basically said, like, should I set up an account? Is it a distraction? Is it a waste of time? Or should I be getting on this early? And I want to give a bit of context for how to make this decision. Meta know what they're doing. Like, they've seen something in the way that Twitter is running. They thought, we want a piece of that. If you set up an account, it's linked to your Instagram profile. You can basically share your content as an online coach through text medium. They've probably also caught on to the fact that on Instagram, one of the most popular, highest performing types of content is screenshots of tweets, which is really ironic. So they're going to really push this, and they're going to probably push the cross-sharing between Threads and Instagram as well. Yes, there's a first mover advantage for you to get on it, just like there was with LinkedIn or TikTok or anything. Like Gary Vee's always talking about this. He says, like, whenever something's new, don't turn your nose up at it, just join in, get on it first. But it's another bloody platform to have to manage. It's another thing that you're going to have to take up your bandwidth. So get it onto a scheduler as soon as possible and treat it as a small bet. Don't use it as another way to procrastinate from doing the important stuff. So yes, they have a good chance of taking over Twitter. If you've got a Twitter presence already, it's very easy to repurpose your content over. But also don't get kind of blinded by the flashing lights. TikTok has made us £12 out of 25,000 followers. $12.99, sorry. Oh, yeah, we're in the big bucks, really.
I mean, in percentage terms, that's quite an increase.
So organic impressions are not always valuable. So that's my answer with an organic hat on. With like is this actually worth your time hat on, you've just got to remember, have you got a reliable way to generate leads long term? Organic stuff is the long game. It's not going to get you any consistent growth or consistent clients early on unless you're very lucky, and that's not a way to run a business. So 90% of your efforts right now, if you're an online coach and you've got less than 30 clients, should be on cracking the ads and the outbound marketing until you get that nailed, and then you can focus on doing a podcast or writing threads or whatever else.
Well, with that, I'll put my paid hat on.
Oh, yes.
So from an ads perspective, when I see stuff like that, it's great news, because really all that's happening, if we look at like all of Meta's products, so you've got like Instagram, Facebook, Reels, Stories, Feeds, Marketplace, which is like the dregs of the internet, like the word. Imagine like the stuff that even like the rag and bone man doesn't pick up, that you leave outside your house, and it's like, this is all this.
No one touches it for weeks.
They're like, whoa, mate, like that's. But anyway, so there's like all these places you can run ads on, and the price of running an ad, which is the CPM, is determined by supply and demand for that placement. The problem that YouTube doesn't have, because there are like more videos put on YouTube per minute than anyone can ever watch at any one time, they have an expanding inventory that everyone advertisers can run ads on. Facebook have a fairly fixed inventory. So like, there's only so many like scrolls of the feed you do, there's only so many stories you watch, there's only so many times that they can like get an ad to appear. When they launch a new space, like something like this, they're just increasing the supply, which in turn temporarily drops the price. So the best way to take advantage of something like this, it's like some people who say like, how do I use Instagram to make sales when I've only got 100 followers? It's like, well, someone has 1 million followers, like the only advantage they have over you is that when they post something on Instagram, more people see it. That's it, really. And yes, they have some brand equity and things like that, but we can simulate that by just paying Instagram. Just, here's my best stuff, show it to 1,000 people today, please. No problem. I'll do it. You don't have to do anything. So when they launch something like, what's it called?
Threads.
It won't be long before that becomes a ad placement. So instead of worrying about like, oh God, what's my content strategy for this? Just think, okay, I know I've got this ad that works. I'm going to make an Instagram Reels version of it. I'm going to make an Instagram feed version of it. I'm going to make a Instagram story version of it. Now I'm going to make a Threads version of it. And I'm going to just take advantage of the new eyeballs on that platform. So back to Yusuf's point, if you just have a strategy, which is like, when I run this ad to this sort of person and they opt in and go through this funnel, percentage of them buy, and the whole economics of that is profitable, you just don't have to worry about any of this. It's just Marky Mark, our mate Mark. Zuck, just going, hey guys, thought about putting that ad on here instead. Like, thanks, Mark.
Yes, please.
So kind of you. So
That's a great perspective. So it's another space for the auction and it's going to be cheaper to begin with as well.
Yep.
For the impressions. So,
and it also means, because Facebook's done this with a couple of things, like they, over the years anyway, they've like launched something new and then it just kind of fizzled out. And I think having that view of like, I'm just going to run ads to it, takes the risk that you spoke about away. Of like, if they launch something new and you're like, I'm going to double down on this, if it then vanishes in 2 months' time because the numbers haven't worked for Facebook, that was a lot of effort you put into something that has led to nothing.
Yeah, this is it. Like, people want the answer of like, is Threads going to be successful? Like, is it worth me putting my time into? Like, well, no one knows. Like, that's the job of speculators and investors, and obviously Meta have done as much as they can to try and make it a success, and they've got a big tailwind to be able to do that. But it might still collapse. Like, TikTok's always on the verge of getting banned by the US government, isn't it? So, like, I think your point is like, don't put too many eggs in one basket and just treat all platforms as impressions. And sometimes they're easier to get, sometimes they're harder to get. Just throw everything out there. Use a scheduler to make your because you're only one person, so you can't be going around like manually posting everywhere. You've got to leverage your time and then see where the cards fall.